darling baby, baby.
Good day to each and everyone. I'm Ara Lucien C. Chavez, the leader of the Group 2. Today, we will discuss Module 10 of Business Risk, Business Failure, Reorganization, and Liquidation. Me and my teammate Jordan De La Cruz will discuss about business risk and what are the different types of risk in business. But first, what is business risk? Business is mainly run to earn profit. However, there is always a chance of suffering loss in it. This danger of loss from unforeseeable events in future in business is named as business risk. Business risk is the exposure a company or organization has to factor that will lower its profits or lead it to fail. Anything that threatens a company's ability to achieve its financial goals is considered a business risk. It goes side by side with it. There is no business in the world which can guarantee, claim, or insure for no business risk. And the fact is that it cannot be avoided, but it can be minimized by taking timely, suitable measures by a businessman. There are many factors that can converge to create business risk. Sometimes, it is a company's top leadership or management that creates situations where a business may be exposed to a greater degree of risk. However, sometimes the cause of risk is external to a company. Because of this, it is impossible for a company to completely shelter itself from risk. However, there are ways to mitigate the overall risk associated with operating business. Most companies accomplish this through adopting a risk management strategy. Understanding business risk. When a company experiences a high degree of business risk, it may impair its ability to provide investors and stakeholders with adequate returns. For example, the CEO of a company may make certain decisions that affect its profits, or the CEO may not accurately anticipate certain events in the future, causing the business to incur losses or fail. Business risk is influenced by a number of different factors, including consumer preferences, demand, and sales volumes, per unit price and input costs, competition, the overall economic climate, government regulations. A company with a higher amount of business risk may decide to adopt a capital structure with a lower debt ratio to ensure that it can meet its financial obligation at all times. With a lower debt ratio, when revenues drop, the company may not be able to service its debt, and this may lead to bankruptcy. On the other hand, when revenues increase, a company with a low debt ratio experiences larger profits and is able to keep up with its obligations. To calculate risk, analysts use four simple ratios: contribution margin, operational leverage effect, financial leverage effect, and total leverage effect. For more complex calculations, analysis can incorporate statistical methods. Business risk usually occurs in one of four ways: strategic risk, compliance risk, operational risk, and reputational risk. I will play a video for you to understand more about business risk.
Business risk is the risk associated with the overall operations of a business entity. It's the risk that the business managers might make incorrect decisions or fail to anticipate future events and thus cause the business to be unprofitable or even fail. For instance, Fred invented a widget he thinks will be the next great consumer gadget. Fred convinces Mary to invest $100,000 in his business. Fred uses the money to manufacture his widgets and bring them to the market. If sales are low or even non-existent, then Mary has lost her $100,000 due to business risk. She and Fred thought the widget would sell, when in reality, consumers did not like it and thus did not buy it. There are many factors that affect business risk. A major factor, as demonstrated in Fred and Mary's case, is consumer taste and preferences. Other factors are supplier dependability, the competition's activities, the overall economic climate, changes in government regulations, and lawsuits. The financial ratios that highlight a company's business risk are contribution margin, operating leverage, financial leverage, and total leverage. A company with a high amount of business risk should avoid acquiring extensive debt because a sharp downturn in business could reduce revenue below the company's ability to service its debt and thus lead to bankruptcy. Companies with high business risk keep their operations very lean so they can get by when revenues are low. However, when revenues are high, they experience exceptionally large profits.
Good day, everyone. I'm Jodeline de la Cruz. We'll now discuss about the types of business risk. There are different categories of risk that may affect your organization. Here is what they are. Strategic risk. Strategic risk is related to adverse business decisions or the failure to implement appropriate business decision in a manner that is consistent with the institution's strategic goals. It arises when a business does not operate according to its business model or plan. Reputational risk. Reputational risk is related to negative public opinion. Anytime a company's reputation is ruined, either by an event that was the result of a previous business risk or by different occurrence, it runs the risk of losing customers and its brand loyalty suffering. Operational risk. Operational risk is related to loss resulting from inadequate or failed internal processes, people and system, or from external events. This risk arises from within the operation, especially when day-to-day operation of a company fail to perform. Transactional risk. Transactional risk is related to problems with service or product delivery. Compliance risk. Compliance risk is related to violations of laws, rules, or regulations, or from non-compliance with internal policies or procedures or business standards. Its risk primarily arises in industries and sectors that are highly regulated. Special considerations. Business risk cannot be entirely avoided because it is unpredictable. However, there are many strategies that businesses employ to cut back the impact of all types of business risk, including strategic, compliance, operational, and reputational risk. The first step that brands typically take is to identify all sources of risk in their business plan. These aren't just external risk. They may also come from within the business itself. Taking action to cut back the risk as soon as they present themselves is key. Management should come up with a plan in order to deal with any identifiable risk before they become too great. Finally, most companies adopt a risk management strategy. This can be done either before the business begins operations or after it experiences a setback. Ideally, A risk management strategy will help the company be better prepared to deal with risk as they present themselves. The plan should have tested ideas and procedures in place in the event that risk present itself.
Good day, my name is Mark Jekyll Kasamis from Group 2. A business failure definition is a business that closes or ceases operations, causing the creditors to lose money. A business can fail when it's no longer able to turn a profit. If the principal owner leaves a business, whether due to death or retirement, but does not leave the business with any debts, this is not considered a business failure. The causes of business failure may be they not seeking professional advice, lack of experience, lack of personal growth, poor location, unaccountability, and so many more. There are uncountable reasons a business can fail, but I will give you the most common reason why business failure occur. Because of failing to listen to their customers and failing to adapt and grow when the market changes. Another common reason business fail is when they choose an industry that has lesser chance of profitability. Business can also fail when they don't have enough financing because when your business bank account runs out of money and your business will fail in the most common cases.
Uh, Good day, everyone. My name is Jenny Lynn Cabales. My topic is about the reorganization. So I'm going to discuss what is reorganization. So reorganization, it is talk about the business restructuring. It is a process in which a company makes an analysis of its uh, current setup and operation. Typically, businesses go through restructuring when they have a financial problem. Uh, Kapag meron silang mga utang, sobrang daming utang na hindi na nila kayang bayaran, they undergo reorganization, and also kapag napalitan yung owner nila, yung staff, or merong structural changes. So, kapag ang business is mag-undergo sa isang reorganization, ang magsusupervise nito ay ang bankruptcy court. So, yung bankruptcy court, ito yung mga nilalapitan na sila yung nagde-decide sa mga kumpanya na papunta na sa bankruptcy. Sila yung magde-decide kung kailangan ng isang kumpanya ang reorganization or mapupunta sila sa liquidation. So, ano ba yung function ng bankruptcy? Function of bankruptcy court is to give a non-solvent company the opportunity to submit a reorganizational plan. If approved, the company can continue to operate and defer payment of the most compelling debt until another day. To get bankruptcy judge approval, the reorganizational plan must include drastic changes to reduce costs and increase profits. If the plan is rejected or approved but it is not succeed, the company is forced to liquidation. So, ano yung liquidation? Gaya ng sinabi ng mga grupo ko, ang liquidation is pagbebenta ng mga asset ng isang kumpanya para mabayaran nila yung kanilang mga pinagkakautangan, katulad na lang yung mga shareholders nila. So, when supervised by court during bankruptcy proceeding, a reorganizational focuses on the restructuring of a company finances. The company is temporarily protected from the lender's claims for a full repayment of outstanding debts. Once the bankruptcy court approved the restructuring plan, the company will return the finances, operations, management, and whatever else they think is necessary to revive their company. It will also start repaying their lenders in accordance with the revised schedule. Yung napag-isapan yung schedule schedule kung kailan kayo magbabayad. Good thing sa reorganization, a company successful company restructuring can result in higher profit or malaking kita, operational efficiency, and debt repayment, pagbabayad ng mga pinag-autang. However, sometimes business restructuring or business reorganization effort that not always work. Ineffectively adjustment can lead to losses, and businesses that have gone through loss restructuring may go through liquidation. Katulad na sinabi ko kanina, mapipilitan silang mapunta sa liquidation o pagbebenta ng mga kanilang assets. Yung reorganizational is it can be mandatory or voluntary depending or in the circumstances. That's all. Thank you.
Types of corporate reorganization. The first type is identity management. ID management is the organization process for ensuring that individuals have the appropriate access to technology and resources. More specific, this includes the identifying authentication and authorize of a person or persons to have access to applications, system, or networks. The next one is bankruptcy. Bankruptcy is a legal process through which people or other entities who cannot repay debts to creditors may seek relief from some or all their debts in most jurisdictions. Bankruptcy is imposed by a court order, often initiated by the debtor. In business, consolidation or amalgamation is the merger and acquaintance of many smaller companies into few much larger ones. In the context of financial accounting, consolidation refers to a aggregation of financial statement of a group company as consolidated financial statement. I'm Rudy Guzman. That's all. Thank you.
Good day everyone, I'm Geraldine Dayono and I will discuss the liquidation. So liquidation is the process of converting a company's assets into cash and using those funds to repay as much as possible the company's debts. Creditors' voluntary liquidation is initiated by the company's directors when they are concerned the company can't pay its debts. Liquidation in finance and economics is the process of bringing a business to an end and distributing its assets to claimants. It is an event that usually occurs when a company is insolvent, meaning it cannot pay its obligations when they are due. As company operations end, the remaining assets are used to pay creditors and shareholders based on the priority of their claims. General partners are subject to liquidation. The term liquidation may also be used to refer to selling of poor performing goods at a price lower than the cost to the business or at a price lower than the business desires.
Distribution of assets during liquidation. The Department of Justice appoints a trustee to oversee the distributions of assets depending on the priorities various party claims. Secured creditors with collateral on loans to the company have the highest priority claims. Due to the limited time frames involved, this lender will seize the collateral and sell it, often at a considerable discount. If that doesn't pay the debt, the company's remaining liquid assets, if any, will be used to make up the difference. Unsecured creditors are next in line. Bondholders, the government, if taxes are owed. The employees are among them, if they are owed unpaid wages or other obligations. Finally, if there are any remaining assets, they are distributed to shareholders. In such instance, preferred stock investors take precedence over common stockholders. Liquidations also refers to the process of disposing of excess goods at a low price. In order to liquidate inventors, it is not necessary to file for bankruptcy. The act of liquidating a securities position is also known as liquidation. In the most basic sense, this implies selling the position for cash. Another option is to take an equal but opposite position in the same security, such as shorting the same amount of shares as a long position in a stock. If a trader's portfolio falls below the margin requirement, or if she has displayed a reckless approach to risk-taking, a broker may force liquidate the trader's position. How liquidation works. When a business goes into liquidation, its assets are sold to satisfy creditors, and the company closes. On Companies House, the firm name remains active, but the status has changed to liquidation when a corporation can no longer operate due to finance constraints. It must be liquidated insolvently. Liquidation of business, tax treatment of transfer of asset to owners. The dissolution and liquidations of a company may occur as a result of the closing of a firm or the undertaking of restructuring effort. Shareholders surrender their stock shares when a corporation dissolves. If there is any money left over after paying third-party commitments, the shareholder receives cash and or property from the corporation. Liquidating dividend refers to the amount of cash and or the other properties received by the shareholders after corporation dissolution or partial liquidation. Let me also point out that are taxes even a debt. Nothing is certain except debt and taxes.
Thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something from our short video presentation.